This one we didn't actually get a lot of time on yesterday, which is hygiene on trail.
Yeah.
I haven't found a lot of really good, useful information out there, and I found a lot of information that um kind of shocked me. I thought, that's not really sound advice. When you're deciding to go out and do something like this, the last thing you want is to come down with a UTI
Yeah.
on trail or noro, right? Which was huge when we were hiking.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things I never thought about before going out, because I'm like, yeah, you just dig your cat hole. But some of the things that I read online and watched online was people talking about not using toilet paper, and just using leaves, bark, a stick. There's the argument of whether you should bring wipes out. We
Mm.
talked about different devices too that you could bring. The men, they're lucky they have the pee bottle, right? Which makes it really quick and easy. For us, it's a little more complicated than that. What worked for you guys?
Yeah, I didn't bring wet wipes because of their I know that it's frowned upon to like I just know they're not like biodegradable and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't really like want to walk around with like a really full trash bag. So I brought toilet paper. I also had the Kula cloth, um, which I think was fine overall. You really gotta wash. I mean, you have to obviously wash it, but I would say that like it doesn't have as many uses. And at least what's good about the AT is you can get to town pretty quickly to wash. But I think with the PCT, you won't have as many opportunities to do
Yes.
that. Correct?
Yes.
So I mean, I did toilet paper. I had my period on the trail, which is also a whole other
Yes.
situation. And I know a lot of women will just like get birth control pills and like not, which I don't do. I don't do that. So that was also very challenging. Like I would have like a cup and I would clean it in the privy, which was like it's very very. I was so afraid I was going to drop it. Like all of the things. I would bring extra my water to like kind of rinse. It was yeah. It was. It's not like the greatest. Wasn't the greatest experience. Yeah, I've never been dirtier in my life.
Yeah. And
But
I think it's shocking. Like, just it doesn't matter how conscious you are about trying to stay clean,
yeah,
you
dirty.
can't, right? It's just impossible.
Yeah, you're gonna get dirty, especially I think especially as a woman, even if it's daytime and you're just going out to pee, there's splash. Like, um, and your leg is it's gross. I guess you could bring your water and like but your water is so precious. You don't
That's
want
just it. That's just it. I started out with the bidet.
to. Oh,
I thought, oh, this is a great idea, but all I found was that it even though it may have cleaned, it left me very wet.
yeah,
And wet is just as much of an issue as dirt, because that causes skin breakdown, and that it's just something you don't want to happen on trail. So I quickly got rid of the bidet. I found it did not work for me. And I also started with the Kula cloth. I did not have a good experience with that. I actually did end up with a UTI on trail.
yeah. I could see why. I could see because they're
And I think it's because I think it's a good idea, but I found for myself personally, I didn't find it very absorbent. Um,
yes, yep,
so it was, even after wiping, I would find that I'm still not as dry as I wanted to
yeah,
be. And then when you clip it on the back of your pack, like you said, like everything's damp, and there's just, you're covered in this film of dust, like everything sticks to you. So
yeah.
for me, that one didn't work either. So I ended up quickly reverting back to just bringing a roll of toilet paper with me, and that was the thing that really helped. I did, when I after I had the UTI though, I found bringing like a small amount of wet wipes with me,
Yeah,
would just to help keep the area a little cleaner,
sure.
because I just didn't want to go through that, a second time on
Oh
trail.
my God, terrible.
But yeah, it's those little things you really don't think about, because you don't think about them in your day-to-day life. You just do what you have to do. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot more thought and preparation. The other thing we were talking about the pee bottle and what to use. I know Georgia said she tried the sheepy and it didn't quite work for her. This was what my original thought was. So this is like, it's a dog dish.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
collapsible. And then you can, pop it up and do it. But the problem is it's not very sturdy. And it's not really wide or deep enough. So I thought about it, and then I thought, no, that's not going to work. What I'm going to end up going with, I think, is going to be my coffee can.
I think that's a great idea.
I mean, it's incredibly lightweight. I can put a lid on it, so
Yep.
I don't have to be.
It looks like it has a large like diameter too. So
Yes, and the bottom especially is nice and stable. I know Georgia said, she had that incident of trying to switch from one bottle to another with a sheepy and things spilling. I had before I came up with this solution on the AT. I had I can't get out of the tent in time, and so I just grabbed a large Ziploc. And again, not ideal, if you have no other options, that would work. But again, you get spillage and stuff, and it's just not.
Yeah. And then you could keep it outside in your vestibule.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about it spilling inside your tent.
Exactly. But the other thing was, what about hand sanitizer? Did you bring it?
Yeah.
Did you find it work?
Yeah. I would always use it after going to the bathroom. It just, worked out, I think, for the best, especially after going to the bathroom. I think that using hand sanitizer is a good solution.
Yeah. One of the other things that I heard a lot of hikers saying is don't bring an extra pair of underwear. Maybe it's a female thing, but that's the one thing I will not get rid of. What about underwear? Would you go with one pair, two pair? What did you pack?
I brought 5. I brought 5 pairs of underwear.
Yes.
I know that is excessive. I know some people will say that is excessive, but I'm prone to like yeast infections, so I really did not want to get that on the trail.
Yeah.
Like it's just like having a UTI. It's terrible. So uncomfortable. I did a couple of times wear my underwear inside out. That's one way to do it. I would recommend sleeping without any underwear.
Yes.
It's a good idea. Just don't sleep with any underwear. I would say, especially if it's warm, don't sleep with any clothes. Just like let your body air out.
Yeah. Those are some of the key issues to infection is the dirt and the moisture. Staying dry. I find I bring antifungal cream with me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should have done that.
It really does help. It'll save you a lot of agony. So I think we're running out of time here. It was wonderful. Great conversation. Lots of good information there. And hopefully, it'll help a lot of other hikers that are contemplating it. But thank you again for your time.